All right, we're live, so I'll give a minute or two for people to join. And meanwhile, I'm going to see how do I get the chat open. Why doesn't YouTube make this easy? I don't know. Let's see, screen share, no. Chat, no. I don't want the Google Hangouts chat. I want the YouTube live chat. Control room? No. This 3 dots, no. Let me go to the YouTube live control room. See, I have to open it in a separate window for some reason. Live chat here. Why is it in a separate window? I don't get it. Hey, Joaquin Ruiz, La Pucha, what's that mean? Open chat in a new window. Let's see if this helps me out. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not trying to do group chat. Anyways, so I saw Tim and Eric's bedtime stories last night. I've missed a lot of episodes. It's just hard. First of all, I work Sunday nights, but also I'm just busy with so much stuff trying to write my screenplay, study books on screenwriting like these, study sales jobs, trying to get a good sales job because I want to make a lot of commission to pay for my movie and also pay for a nice life for myself and help my parents out. Let's see, how do I make the chat pop out? The one and only Ms. Jojo, hello. And hi, Joaquin, hi, B. How do I pop out chat? Why is it in a separate window? I don't get it. Anyways, it's such a pain. So I saw Tim and Eric's bedtime stories. I only saw from this season Baklava, which was hilarious, and Butter, and which was last night. So bizarre. Sorry, I popped my knuckles there. And also just whatever. I want to catch up on the other episodes, but it strikes me, whenever I sit down and watch an episode, I'm like, oh man, this time I got to be doing stuff. I could be. Look at all the notes I have on all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of notes on the movie I'm writing, in addition to sales jobs, different goals to set for myself in sales, scenes from the movie that I'm writing that still need a lot of work, and I actually hired a screenwriting consultant to help me on. These are just video ideas all right here. So I'm thinking of doing a lot of stuff, and I guess I'll answer questions. If anyone has them, go ahead and put them in the chat. I'll just type hello in chat, and I'm going to link my live stream on Facebook real quick. Where the hell where do I even find a link? Where do I find the link just to share this on Facebook? Not helpful at all. That's just how YouTube is. Where's the link? Anyway, so I don't even know how to get to the link to this live stream. Anyway, so I haven't had time. I haven't made a video in like a week. Haven't had much time to, because again, I've been busy working and also just undisciplined too. But struggling to get through this screenplay, this script, and I'm not quite ready to say what it's about. I've said it in a few places, like a little bit on Facebook, and told a few people, but not quite ready to say what it's about, Miss Jojo. But I'll say this, it's about a loser, and it's kind of rubbing in people's faces an image that sort of, it's like we're not supposed to share. Like, you're not supposed to tell people you're depressed or you're struggling or things aren't going well for you, and this movie's all about that. Now, that's kind of vague, but it's the idea of it. This question I have of what's wrong with being a loser? What's wrong with saying that? If I'm depressed, which I kind of have been lately and feeling down, but, I struggle to push forward when I'm feeling like that. And this movie's kind of about that, but I'm still, the structure is so crucial. It's not even the dialogue. Dialogue is kind of, in a way, easy. Wow, King Kong, thank you for the $2 donation. It's kind of easy in a way. The dialogue, once you have the structure in place and you have in sharp relief the drama, the conflict, and you put your character through hell. I'm still trying to find the link. So why won't YouTube just provide me a link for this live stream so I can post it on Facebook? Where is it? Resume Hangout on air? Have I paused it? No. So let's see. Edit. Oh, my goodness. So tedious. No, I can't find the link. Screw it. Live control room, maybe? Tired of this crap. Oh my goodness. Why is YouTube got to be such a miserable pain? Okay, wait. I have it playing here. I had to, for some reason, I have to go to like a window inside. Hey, Lefto. How's it going? Anyways, I won't even explain it. It's a huge pain, so I'm going to post the link to Facebook real quick. Live on Facebook. Oh, live on Facebook. Anyways, so like I said, saw Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories. Great stuff. Oh, man. It's still amazing to think I worked with them years ago on Hey, D. Badest. How's it going? It's still amazing to think I worked with them years ago. And hey, who knows? Maybe they'll want to do something with my mom again someday. So I'm posting this link to Facebook still. All right. So it looks like we got a few people in here. So to get the window open. There we go. So I don't know, what am I talking about? I hired a Hollywood screenwriting consultant, a guy I really like, I've done some research on, to do a consultation with him, not about my screenplay, because that would cost a whole lot. And really, it's better to do it earlier when you're still forming the scenes for your screenplay, even though I'm kind of well into a first draft of it. But I know first draft is nothing. You know, you rewrite it 500 times. Before it's done. So I hired him and I sent in info about, okay, what are my story points that I have so far? And I can see weaknesses in them. And some I feel like, oh, it's kind of touching, you know, what I have here for the story points, the sequences, the hero goal sequences, sort of, as the story moves on. Anyways, so I'm working on still structuring that, and it's this huge ordeal. And then I'm wondering, you know, what do I do when it's done? So that's why, again, I haven't been making so many videos lately, as I've been writing that, working on that, just making myself write that, because you never want to write. It's miserable. And yeah, we got Cookie. Yeah, I know, La La Land. She's busy with work, for one thing. Really, it's almost like 3 jobs for her, between her 2 jobs and taking care of the house. You know, my dad's older. He's still in good shape, fortunately, but, you know, she has to make sure he takes his medicine on time and eats well and everything, because he won't manage that himself. And so it's hard to make time to do anything with her. But we're trying this week. It just, things keep getting pushed back, but maybe tomorrow. So we'll see. In addition to that, I've just, like I said, working on this screenplay. Thanks, King Kong. Yeah, I'm so excited. Here's the thing. It's expensive hiring this screenwriter. I had to put it all on my credit card, and, you know, it was a stretch to do it. But as soon as I got the idea to look up his services, and I had been recommended him already, I wrote another guy, actually, the guy who wrote this book, really nice, Eric Edson, The Story Solution. This is a wonderfully helpful book. I took so many notes. If you see my movie someday and you like it, it's in large part because of this, because it was so helpful structuring the story that that being said, certain things where you know need to happen. It's not a formula, but it's just the idea that you have to keep the audience's interest drops at a certain point, and you have to increase it again and make the stakes even higher and make it even more dramatic and make things even worse for your protagonist. Thanks, La La Land. Yeah, I appreciate it. Again, I'm going to try and do something maybe tomorrow with her. We were trying to today, but didn't. We didn't get time, and also it was crazy. I woke up happy. I woke up really. I slept like 3 hours. Woke up and I was miserable because I'm like, what do I do? Should I just get up and feel bad and go about my day? Eventually, I fell asleep again until like 3:30 in the afternoon. So I'm trying not to do that. But anyways. Writing this thing, trying to get clear structure for it, because I realize weak points where it's like not sharp. It's sort of rounded off and soft. And I'm like, oh, this still needs help. And when I saw this guy, and I'll type his name in here, I realized probably, I don't know if anyone in this chat's interested, but that's his name, Michael Hauge. He's a screenwriting consultant. Great. Like, he consults with major movie stars and directors and everything. And so here I am. And I looked through his website. I'm like, I'm thinking about taking the next step to get advice on my screenplay before I just keep writing and writing and don't really make quite the improvements that I need and get feedback. And that is, I looked up his website. And I'm like, I feel sick at the idea of not signing up right now. I have to do this. I absolutely, and I know it's the right thing, even though it costs so much, because it's such a good night, King Kong. Thank you again for the donation. Because I have to do this because I believe so much that this is an investment in myself, that I have to do things that most people are not willing to do to get the things that most people are not going to get. And, I read stats about screenplays, and it's like 100,000 get written a year, something like that. I mean, or at least submitted videos in Hollywood. I don't know. And then of those, only 300 to 400 get made, something like that. And so of those, most screenplays are just terrible. So it's great. So the fact that I'm even reading up on structure and doing lots of research and writing all these notes is great, because it's like right there, I'm ahead of the game. The fact that I'm hiring this consultant and taking it seriously and not just saying, well, why do I need a consultant? I can just do whatever I want. I can just freeform it. The fact that I'm willing to go out and get the help I need and the feedback, that puts me ahead of the game as well. And then another big question is, do I want to submit this to, a studio and try and get it made there? I don't think so. I don't know. I'm going to be open to Michael Higgs' advice, whatever he says, and then later on I want to hire him again when I make more money, if I get a sales job, or whatever kind of sale. I really want a sales job, because you can make a ton in commission there. By the way, another book to get that I'm waiting on my order of, The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street. It goes into a sales system. I've already studied it so much, but I want the book too, to be able to go through it at my own leisure. I've studied his videos and everything, his seminars. They're amazing. I know I'm a great salesman, but even so, I want to learn more and more, and I want to take time to do the script first, because if I don't, it's going to get away from me, and I could never forgive myself for that. So then the question is, okay, do I want to submit this to a studio somewhere? And of course, I want to direct it myself. So they're probably not going to give me a chance on directing it, even if they decide this is a story they want to make. So, and then it may not be the way I want to make it. So I'm figuring I'll just make the money myself, however much I need to make. $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, and just use that to make the movie. And try and do it as cheaply as possible, but everything gets away from you when you're making a movie. It never quite goes according to plan. So that's all I can do, is just plan, be meticulous about preparation, and try from there. So again, that's what I've been working on lately. It's taking up so much time, and even tonight I'm going to do it. You might be de-bedest, but that's fine. I don't care, because also people can find this later and it might find it helpful. And what I see from a lot of screenwriters online, and I was just as guilty as this, if anyone, is not wanting any feedback, thinking, well, I have an original voice, I want to do this. And that's really good in that you want to make a story that's personal to you. But the bad part of it is screenwriting is a craft. You need to learn it. And you get when you start reading screenplays and log lines and reading about the pitfalls of screenwriting, and try doing it yourself and realize you're not doing it well, that's when it becomes clear to you. And that's when I started realizing 13 pages into my first draft a couple months ago, I was like, oh, this is nothing. This is going nowhere. This is flat as a pancake, because this story is going nowhere 13 pages in. That cannot happen. So thanks, La La Land and Lefto. Appreciate y'all. But again, people can find this later, because this is good advice, I think, or this is a good experience to share. Excuse me. So I was as dead set against anyone teaching me anything in film as anyone. And what I started realizing when I was writing the screenplay that I've been thinking about for years is, no, I absolutely need education on this. I need structure. I need, it's like exercising a very weak muscle. Yes, it's going to be painful. And at first you don't even worry about technique. You just worry about being able to, do the exercise without collapsing. But after a few weeks and months, it gets stronger and stronger. And then you're not just worried about doing it and being able to finish the task, but actually having technique and doing it well. All right. Good night, La La, and thanks for watching. And that's what I realized I needed. And I've read forum posts and stuff by other screenwriters, seeing their experience, and people have the same stubbornness that I did. And, it's a process to get to the point where I am now at 32, because 6-7 years ago, I would have absolutely refused basically any input, because I didn't understand why I needed it. Of course, I wasn't trying to write feature-length screenplays back then. So if I tried to do that, hopefully I would have realized very quickly that you have to do that, and you have to be willing to learn a lot. And the great benefit of that too is when I see a movie, I can sort of pick apart better now and picture what went wrong with the screenplay, or what I didn't like, or what is really good about the screenplay, and or what works about it, even if it's a bad movie. If it's structured well, but it's just not dramatic enough, and it's a bad movie, or at least just a movie I don't like, so I can still appreciate it. And actually, I learn way more from bad movies than I do from good ones, because the good ones, as far as screenwriting, because my mind's engaged when I'm watching a bad movie, thinking, okay, this is where this all needs to be tightened up, put together, repackaged, rewritten. And I don't think that when I see a great movie, because I'm thinking this is, already like the highest quality there is. One thing I read lately was a log line, which is supposed to be a one-sentence description of a movie. And that's supposed to sum it up really well. And so that was good exercise for me. And I've still got to work on my movie log line. So to give a one sentence, not two sentences, one sentence synopsis of the whole movie that clearly explains the conflict and what the hero is after, and sort of explains the arc of the movie in a way. And I read one from an amateur screenwriter, and the log line was like 3 sentences, and it was really bad, and it had like a little joke sort of in there where it shouldn't have. But I was so glad I saw that, because I was like, oh, I learned from that now what to avoid, because before I wouldn't have known to avoid that. And what so many screenplays suffer from is a lack of conflict, lack of drama. And some screenwriters will openly say that, like, well, why do I need story? Why do I need plot? That's ridiculous. And I understand that, because that's how I was. I thought, oh, all the great movies I love don't have a real plot, like Scorsese movies, or a lot of foreign films, or always when I need to think of it, I can't, or Sideways by Alexander Payne movies, or a lot of other movies by filmmakers I love. Ingmar Bergman movies. Now his is a little different of an exception, but still he understood story really well. But a lot of these screenwriters who are starting out say that, but they don't realize, and that's what I didn't realize, and that's what I had to study, is like all these great movies, they actually are very, very well structured and organized. And I was like, oh crap, I had no idea. I didn't realize that. I really thought it was just free form when you're writing a great movie, and it's just experiences and moods. Then I realized, oh, that would bore people to death. And when I see that, it bores me. So, and even again, movies I thought were just like unconventional and just experiences, like Sideways, with Paul Giamatti and Thomas Hayden Church. But then the story solution, again, this book here, lays out all of the hero goal sequences in it that the lead character Miles goes through. And I'm like, holy crap, it is structured really well. And that's why I responded to it so strongly. So one screenwriter I read, somebody gave him feedback on a plot synopsis or an outline or something, and said it needs more, like it needs higher stakes. And the writer said, well, why do I need stakes? Why can't I have just a movie with two guys just hanging out and having a lot of fun? And that's ridiculous. That's such a bad idea. But here, I respect that, because that writer may have to go through that. And hopefully the key element is not avoiding writing bad stuff. If you're writing, I'm writing bad stuff, but it's to have self-awareness and self-criticism to be able to objectify that material, look at it, and know where to get the resources and strengthen your own knowledge of the craft to improve it. And that's what'll trip you up, not a lack of talent or anything. But anyways, it's a good learning experience, and it's tricky and crazy and so overwhelming. And I'm so excited to talk to this screenwriting consultant, Michael Hauge, and I hope to hire him again in the future when I have a script and be able to pay him for many hours of consultation. And then hire others. Hire one named Jen Grisanti, she, along with Michael Hauge and others who I've learned, actually Eric Edson too from the Story Solution, wonderful talks on about where I started learning about this after I started writing my script. I was like, oh, I need to study this. And so I was looking up all their interviews, and I'm like, these are wonderful. This is amazing. Richard Walter too. Hire you as an actor, Lefto? Well, first of all, it depends where you live, because you got to be in the DC area or at least able to come here. But also, you got to audition. So when I start auditioning actors, anyways, hey, if I have the money and for the right actor, I'll fly them out here, even if they're on the other side of the world, I suppose. But anyways, I was watching these videos. I'm like, this is amazing. Yes, of course, I'll pay for all that if I'm flying. It depends. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know if you're right for the part. You got to read the script and audition for it. But I was studying then, and I realized, okay, I absolutely need this feedback. So Jen Grisanti is another one. She did TV writing before, or maybe TV writing, and I think she was on the staff as a consultant for major TV series. And she was great. The way she talks on Film Courage in her interviews about screenwriting and knowing conflict, knowing your wounds and your core wounds and your character's core wounds. And that's something the movie's going to be about in a way is, this main character. Well, thanks. Why not? Appreciate that. You can see all this preparation I'm doing for it, respect to the audience. Like, I'm not trying to just make something quick that feels good or feels fun or whatever and put it out there and waste people's time. Even if it's bad, I want it to be bold and exciting, and how bad it is. So that's why I'm putting all this time and energy and money into researching, preparing the script, strengthening it, getting everything right about it, and taking my time and putting lots of time into it. So after we're done the stream tonight, I'm going to keep writing. And I don't know how long you've been on, why not? But I said I'm hiring a major Hollywood screenwriting consultant to do a consultation with me on just the main story points. I'm not even sending him the script because I can't afford that service yet. And really, it's better to get feedback on the story structure and then write the script, even though I'm well into a first draft. But at least this way with the story points, we can start talking about it, and it's something I can afford. And then I can go write the first draft and then go back to it and keep rewriting and rewriting. And again, another screenwriting consultant I want to hire is Jen Grisanti. She just seems great in the videos I've seen of her. And I'm really looking forward to getting her feedback as well. And for screenplays, it's so crucial. It's probably less so for a finished film or a rough cut of a film, because you already have the footage. You may be able to reshoot stuff if something's not clear to the audience, or if they're not responding to a certain point, you may cut out a scene. But really, the most important feedback is the script stage, because that's when you're deciding what to shoot and what to edit and who to cast and how to put the movie together. I'll type the name here. Look up her interviews if you're curious at all about filmmaking, not just for writers like me with film, an agent, a producer, a whatever. Jen Grisanti. That's her name, screenwriting consultant. So I really want to hire her. And by the way, what's cool about all these people is they're online. So I reached out to pretty much and said, I loved your interview, to hire you sometime. Or in the case like Eric Edson, I asked him if he does consulting. He said he doesn't, but he recommended Michael Hauge, who I was already familiar with. And Eric Edson, he was super nice too and encouraging. When I told him, hey, I just want to say I was read his book, loved it, took lots of notes. It's again, his book is called The Story Solution, and it's so incredibly helpful. And my movie's only going to be, script is going to be so much better because of it. So in the audience by doing this and respecting what needs to go into making a great movie. And excuse me. I emailed him saying, thank you for writing this. I was dead set against learning anything about screenwriting, any education. I thought you just write what you feel and you'll figure it out. And then I realized, well, no, this is terribly wrong. What I was writing, it was just flat. It went nowhere. I was making all the novice mistakes a writer can make, tons of lengthy dialogue that I thought was so funny. And I thought, well, there's no way I can do without all this. Then I started over from the beginning, cut out a bunch of it, and I thought, well, there's no way I can cut out the rest. Then I cut out a bunch of that. Then basically there was nothing left of it except for maybe nothing, I think, from that first one. Maybe literally a handful of words from one scenario in the beginning. Or actually, no, a tiny bit more than that, I'll say. But that's just so far. In the first draft, I realized it's still, I don't know if it feels sharp enough yet. And if the conflict comes out quickly enough, and if it needs to be reworked still, maybe it's starting too slow. And that's what I'm looking forward to talking to Michael Hauge about, which I'm so excited about, because I'm like, thank you, finally. I hate to use the word guru or master, but someone who has serious expertise in this and a serious track record of consulting with major screenwriters like Shane Black, who wrote Lethal Weapon 1 and 2, and who wrote and directed The Nice Guys, and Iron Man 3, I believe, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Thanks, why not? Yeah, I'm really putting the effort into it because I want to respect the audience and respect the craft, and respect the audience. Something that, I mean, easy to just write something and get people involved with it and just crap it out and make something that's amusing enough and interesting enough. And but I know, like, I couldn't forgive myself if I didn't go through this process. And it's so crazy, the process when you're writing. I mean, my goodness, sometimes it's like, I'm so happy. I'm like, this is amazing. I can't even sit here. I want to burst. I want to get up and pace my room and run around and jog to exercise and burn off that energy because I'm so excited about what I wrote. And other times I'm like, I literally wish I could beat myself up because I'm like, this is so bad or so wrong. Or I'm like, I'm stuck at this point, which of course, whenever I'm stuck after an hour or so, I get past it and I keep writing. That's not to say it's going to stay in, but one of the great pieces of advice that Michael Hauge gave on one of his interviews is, if you're not sure what to write in a scene, but at least know what you want in the scene. Or I don't know if he said that exactly, but I know, for instance, like I have it plotted out on all these note cards here, basically what the different scenes are. I'll show real quick. And that's not necessarily how it's going to stay because I keep rearranging it. And even as I'm writing now, I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't quite work where I'm going. There's not enough in certain parts. It feels too compressed, or other parts, or sometimes I realize I don't need that scene there. But he says, advice for a screenwriter, if you don't know what to write, just start out by having the characters say exactly what they want and what they feel. So literally just have them say that. And then from there you can extrapolate later on and make it more, what's the word? Like not dense, but what am I thinking of? Layered, like layer it in more deftly. What's the, I'm trying to think of, subtle, that's it. So you can make it more subtle later by extrapolating what they want, and then directly, like, and not having them say directly what they're supposed to, what they're wanting, but have them express it, and the scene seem to be about something else when it's really about what they want. The scene should be is characters say what they want, and even when they seem to, they're always saying something else. Right, depth. You want to layer in that depth in the screenplay. So some scenes, like right now, it's my very first pass. That's exactly what I do, is just have them say what they're thinking. And so, of course, you know, it's like weirdly avant-garde. You could never have a movie like that where they just say, I'm like this and I'm like this. But it's a start. Because if you're not willing to do that, you're going to be stuck, because you're thinking, oh, I got to wait until I have something perfect. And you're never going to have that. You have to start with crap, and then keep writing, and then strengthening it over time, and then make it more subtle and layer in what the characters want. So the scene is never about what it seems to be about. If two characters are arguing over something, it's not just that they disagree over that one thing, it's their whole worldviews coming against each other, and whatever else the movie is suggesting, or whatever else the main character is projecting, or however the whole movie is a projection of that character. Great example recently is Mother from Darren Aronofsky. The whole movie is kind of playing out like different facets of Jennifer Lawrence's, sort of her different projections of her personality in a way. Like, it's not enough. I'm not saying enough. The Bedtime Stories, Tim and Eric. Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories, they had their season finale last night. So that was a lot of fun. Butter. Look it up. It's on Adult Swim's website right now. It's really, really weird, bizarre. But I love Tim and Eric for that, and for being Darian. It's so interesting. And oh my goodness. I was saying that at the beginning of the live stream, I can't believe they ever worked with me and my mom. And who knows, someday they may work with us again. I hope so. But we're on the other side of the country too. Always makes it difficult, unfortunately. But yeah, look up Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories. And those are good stories too. Really creepy and funny. And they're funnier when they're even more dramatic. I mean, I'm not saying comparing them to when they're being silly like Awesome Show, but I'm saying, like, the more and more dramatic Bedtime Stories is, the more funny it gets, which was kind of like Mother as well. I was laughing during Mother. I'm like, this is so insane. I can't believe it. And the tension never lets up. Excuse me. I always do this with my water bottles so they can fit in the recycling more easily. So anyways, that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm really looking forward to the consulting, and just got to keep writing. And now, the other thing that's on my mind and I'm stressed about is getting a sales job. Because I never like getting any kind of job or dealing with a big company, if I can help it. I always prefer more personal, because I don't like doing anything, navigating paperwork or anything. I don't like doing stuff that just has to be done. I only like doing stuff because I'm enthusiastic about doing it. And a big company will make you do that. And what I'm a little bit concerned about, not too much, but just I don't like the idea of taking the time when it's needless work. Is say I work for one of these home remodeling companies. I'm selling home renovations. You can get a job where they give you leads. They're qualified leads, and you call them up, you make appointments, and you pitch to them. That's great. I could do that. I'd be an amazing salesperson. I would close so much. I'd probably make at least $150,000 a year. But sure thing. Why not? Why not? Says his phone is dying, or her. I don't know if you're a man or a woman, but that your phone is dying and you'll come back on. No problem. The other way to get into these companies is they don't give you the pre-qualified leads, and you have to knock on doors, which I don't mind doing. I'm not scared of doing it. I've actually done stuff like that before. I did for like a day, maybe, going door to door to businesses and cold calling them, trying to sell something for a friend I was working with. And that's the way I prefer to work, is with a friend. But it just, it's like a waste of time, because the unqualified people just to make a modest amount of money. What if you're a big company, which a lot of these companies are they're not necessarily big companies, but they're like companies that you're a man named Tony. All right, why not? Thanks for that. So these big companies, they want people to knock door to door to sell if they're starting out. as an entry-level sales rep. And I may be getting worked up over nothing, because maybe I could sell them in the interview on the idea that you absolutely should make me a higher level sales rep, because you're wasting time not closing people. I know how to close. And plus, if I'm part of a team and hiring people to get on a team, I can train the whole team, because as good of a salesman as I am, I'm an even better sales trainer. And by the way, again, getting back to my script, I want to use this money to, first of all, live nicely and support my parents, but also I want to use it to fund my movie. I want to produce it myself. I don't want to waste time trying to go to a studio to make it. I'll put as much money as I need to into it. Excuse me. So anyways, I have this worry, and I know it's nothing, because if I don't like the job, I don't have to take it. Or if I'm sure I'll like it anyways. But I worry that they're going to say, no, you got to start knocking on doors, and it's going to be like kind of a waste of time with my skill. Now, if that happens, I give them my pitch of, why you should hire me, why I'll be the greatest salesperson they'll have, and how much money it's going to make them. And I'm going to, just empower the whole workforce. And, there's very little downside to work with me. I know how to close anyone who's closable. I can create great sales scripts. If they're not willing to hire me at that point as a sales rep that has pre-qualified leads, I may as well say, you're never going to get it. I'm not working this job. I don't need this. I only want to work a job where I'm getting a chance to close people, and not just. And if you're a big company like some of these are, you should be doing good marketing to get pre-qualified leads, in addition to me prospecting. Now, the other thing I can do is do my own marketing as well. So make my own business cards and maybe drop them off at people's homes. Make educational marketing where I make YouTube videos. It would be on a separate channel, but make YouTube videos about, like, say, the company and my sale and my job and how I can help people. And then maybe leaving the link or a QR code on the card and handing them out to people, and then getting a bunch of leads that way, because people then I don't have to explain everything to them. They can be pre-qualified by getting some education on what I do and being motivated and enthusiastic about coming to me to do the sale. And what was I thinking of? So that was one way, the video marketing, the educational marketing, leaving cards, and can't remember if there was another way I was thinking of to get leads. Maybe having people sign up. Yeah, I know the problem with, I like QR codes, but I realize the problem is people might fear, well, what if this is a virus? It's kind of a ridiculous fear, because the odds are no. But if it's a stranger just leaving a card on your home, they might fear that. I understand that and think, well, I'm not going to scan this. I don't even know what it is. So that's why I might just try and set up a link to do it. But also having some kind of portal or website for people to send in their info. So they send their email and phone number, and I can call them back. That would be a good idea too. What do you mean, Lefto? Lefto's asking, but it can only be text, right? What do you mean, like on a card? That would be correct. If it's on a card, it would only. Oh, why not just write the text? Because if I can't get a custom channel URL, which I would try and do, if I can't get that, then it would be a turnoff for people. But actually, I would just deal with that by just having a custom URL on YouTube. Not hard to do. It takes a few minutes to set up a new channel, new email address. So it's one way I could do it. Oh, right now I remember the other thing I was thinking of. I'm a filmmaker. So if I'm doing well at this company and they like what I'm doing, I could say, hey, you should hire me to make commercials for the whole company and do marketing. Because why waste time all this prospecting with unqualified people who are either they can't afford the services, or they just don't need it, or they don't want it. They have someone else, they're not interested, they're about to sell their home, there's no point in them getting renovations, they're not going to make the money back when they sell their home. So that's another consideration, is I could say, look, not only will I be a sales rep, not only will I do my own marketing as well and generate leads, but if I can make more money with you by doing this, and I can make my own leads and make leads for my sales team, and I'm happy to coach my sales team and train them, because I'm an expert practically in straight line persuasion from Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, at least an expert as much as anyone who can be, who hasn't yet gone out and done sales work, because I know the system, I can teach it. If they'll hire me to be a sales rep, I can make more money that way, and then maybe put my own money into commercials for the for the company, whatever it is, but make them my way and make them fun and interesting, and not like these horrid, oh my goodness, I've seen some horrible videos and testimonials and commercials for other home renovation companies. So I can do it better. So that's another consideration. Like, at least I can pitch that, but I always have this anxiety, this creeping fear, like, well, what if it's just not going to work out? What if, you know, they're not going to give me a chance? It's going to be miserable. I can't think about that. I can't get hung up on that. I have to hang on to the little victories and not be worried about, oh, is this going to be so out of control for me? And because that's all I think about, is just I play out the worst case scenario in any situation I go into, basically, and think this is nothing's going to happen. Worse than nothing's going to happen. It just, I'm going to be miserable at it. So thinking about it, and again, the money I make from a job like that, I would love to put it into these videos and upgrade my computer here. My computer's 5 or 6 years old, and works fine and everything, but get an even faster, better computer for editing. Yeah, thanks. Why not get money says, always think positive, bro. It's a struggle for me, and I have to constantly manage my expectations in order to do that. Otherwise, I do get just miserable and fed up and thinking, my goodness, nothing's going to work out. This isn't ever going to change for me. I'm always stuck, secluded in here, working on videos, or working on, you know, video ideas like I have here, or working on my movie script, or like here, writing down different what I have here. Oh, I have ideas for marketing. Oh, perfect. I wrote them down. I forgot I wrote them down here. But I have on the other side of this companies I can work for that look interesting, that I can make a ton of money in commission. I wrote, yeah, education-based marketing video. Get sales training job, film it, offer educational marketing videos. Oh, that's right. So the other thing I said is, okay, I can train the team, but not only can I train them, I can film it and then sell the video to a company that I train, and then they can keep it and keep people for months and months or years, or as long as the training is relevant. Anyways, I'm about all talked out, I think, and I want to get back to work. Unfortunately, I woke up way too late today, but couldn't help that, really. Or I didn't want to. So I was just clicking around a little bit, checking my messages compulsively. But if you have any questions now, I guess let me know. And I'm going to get ready to get back to work real quick and check in tomorrow, because I'm going to try to have a video with my mom tomorrow. It's 8:51 here. And I'm going to try and have a cooking video with my mom tomorrow. We were trying to have one today, didn't end up working out. Didn't have the time, and I fell asleep all afternoon anyways. I would have been miserable. It's so hard for me to wake up earlier as I get older. I did it all the time as a teenager and in my 20s. Now, it's so painful, and puts me in such a bad mood. Anyways, so let's see if wow, just looking at it. Anyways, okay, no questions, that's fine. People can always ask questions later. Thanks again, everybody, for watching. Check out the Tim and Eric's Bedtime Stories. And if you're interested in film production at all, look up Eric Edson, The Story Solution, and Michael Hauge, that's spelled Hauge. Several books, and he does consulting as well. Okay, so thanks, everybody. Leave comments if you want later on, because I'll be able to see them. Thanks. Why not, man? I feel your pain. Hey, got to keep pushing forward. It's really crazy. It's a trip, man. I tell you. Next live talk, we'll talk about CZW. I still really want to go to one of those. It's really hard because obviously I'm so busy and I don't have much money right now. At some point, I want to go to one of those with TJ Brown from TJ and Friends on YouTube. We've made a few videos together. Check out his channel, or check out my channel page and go down the playlists for links to the videos I did with TJ Brown Jr. and his girlfriend Rebecca and their first son Brody. We haven't met their second child. Beckham, and it's been a while. We wanted to go to a CZW event, but my mom got the flu at the time. Okay, thanks, D. The best. D. Bades says, I'm your biggest fan. Thank you. And good night. Okay, well, good night, everyone. Thanks again. And leave comments later. And I'm going to keep working on this movie to make the best possible movie I can make for you all out there, and really respect you guys, the audience. Okay.